Goedenavond allemaal, hier zijn we weer met een nieuwe aflevering van Saint Mac on Air. Week na week krijg ik wel meer en meer leuke reacties binnen van het is leuk, het is geweldig. Kan je Mark iets minder aan het woord laten? Nee, het is helaas niet mogelijk. Hij betaalt mij ervoor, dus we gaan dat blijven doen. Nee. Mark zal ons vandaag trouwens weer vergezellen, dus het is Mark's moment, 5 minutes. It will be 15, I presume. But die andere Mark is vandaag sowieso ook hier en daar kijken we enorm naar uit. Mark Westmoreland. Welcome, Mark.
Hi guys, how everybody?
They don't answer, not yet, but they will be answering in a few seconds, I presume. So, Mark, how are you doing?
Yeah, surviving. Working from home at the moment, Gunther. There's nothing else for it. You know, we say at Wolfburn, you have to adapt and survive. So we're certainly doing that. And, you know, our mantra, we've got a big sign in the distillery, fortune favours the brave. So, you know, we have to be brave in this current crisis, but we have to be sensible and we'll come out at the other end stronger. We'll adapt some of our working practices and, yeah, we'll just keep on producing that phenomenal juice, which is Wolfburn.
Yeah. Is it difficult for you being a fairly new distillery?
I would say it's probably more easier for us being that sort of new independent distillery. Fiercely independent, remember, Gunther. Fiercely independent. It means we don't have any shareholders, so we don't have to please anybody. We just make our own destiny. So it means that on sort of production, there's only 4 guys on production. And over the last few months, our strategy and our plan has still been on track. We've had releases and we're getting the orders in and the orders out to distribution networks across the world. So we're extremely happy what we're doing, but we always realise that we have to do it the responsible way, and we're certainly doing that.
Yeah. Mark, you're a fairly new distillery. You were there at the beginning?
I had an interest at the beginning. Now, 2011, our owners decided to build or rebuild the distillery, reawaken the Wolfburn name. I got involved when the distillery was getting built. I went down for a wee nose, I had a wee look. But employment-wise, I was approached in 2016. So I suppose since then I've been helping out festivals, doing some shows, masterclasses, but I don't have a background in the whiskey industry. I'm not like a trained sales and marketing manager. I haven't been a global brand ambassador for any other whiskey distillery, and to be honest with you, I wouldn't want to do the same work as I do at Wolfburn with anybody else, because Thurso, where the distillery is, it was my hometown. I was born and bred there. So I knew where the distillery was, where the old one was as well. And I used to play in the fields and pick mushrooms with my dad and try and catch the little fish in the Wolfburn. Yeah. So it's in here, it's in the heart, and it really is. I was a police officer in Scotland for 30 years, so I hope nobody actually turns off at this point. But it means that I've spent 30 years talking to people. Usually, it's if they're full of the drink, it's me that has to lock them up. But now I've turned complete the other side. I've turned poacher, like gamekeeper. You know, I'm encouraging people to come to the Wolfburn side, but please drink responsibly as well. So don't worry about that.
And so, you started working as a police officer because you went to work for Wolfburn, or it just happened to be you were unemployed at that moment?
No, I've been doing some work for Wolfburn when I was still in the police force, just doing some shows and tastings and masterclasses and getting paid in spirit, shall we say. Don't tell the tax man. But it just means that I got an opportunity to meet the guys. One of my friends was working down there anyway as well. It was him that introduced me to the team. And over the years, when the owners knew that I was going to be retiring from the police after 30 years, they went, look, you're doing us a grand job across the world. how about you come and work with us? And I bit their hand off. I really did. It was a dream job. You know, a local lad, born and bred in the place where the distillery is. I've got the best job in the world, traveling, meeting people, getting the story of Wolfburn out there, sharing some terms and making friends. This is what the whisky community is all about. It's about making friends with people. And, you know, thanks to yourself and the work that you're doing during the COVID-19 situation, you know, we're reaching people in their own homes. You know, they're sitting on their laptop, they're sitting on their phone, they've got their iPad or their tablet on their knee. Hopefully they're enjoying a dram, listening to me blethering on. But it's safe and it's comfortable. And, you know, the whiskey industry is great for that.
Yeah. Is the distillery back to business at the moment, or are they still...
Yeah, we've had a couple of stops just to do some minor sort of maintenance. But yeah, we're full on. We've got our summer maintenance program still planned for July. So next month we'll shut down for a fortnight and we'll get everything back to top tip working condition. But the great thing about Wolfburn again is that we keep everything at the distillery spook and span and very clean, and it's a great environment to work in. It's like anybody's workplace. You know, if you keep the place as new, like a shiny pin, it's a pleasure to come to your work because there's no rubbish flying, everything's swept away, the stills are gleaming and shiny. It's just an absolute pleasure. You know, your heart jumps when you're at the distillery and you see everything going on. But I'm totally biased.
It's a bit like homecoming.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And the four guys, Ian Kerr, our distillery manager, the way that he works at the distillery and runs the distillery, Ian's a humble chap. He really is. He doesn't want the publicity. He doesn't want to be sitting here talking to you. No disrespect. He just says, leave me alone. Let me make the whiskey. Yeah. I'm happy doing that. Yeah. Even when I got him to sign some bottles the other week and that, he was like, what are you making me do? Just leave me alone. Just let me get the whiskey made. And it's great. It really is. And we've got 3 young lads. There's 2 are sort of time-served apprentices, Charlie and Innes, and Max is a young apprentice. So they're in their early 20s. So we're actually training the future of the industry. And these are local guys, so it's great for the community and it's great for the future of Wolfburn. It really is. It's very
how many people work for the distillery?
We've got 4 on production. We've got a tour manager and Jen's our head of admin. Now, when it's like we can have big and full titles at Wolfburn, there's only 12 people in the whole company, and that's including the owner, that's including our accountant, our graphic designer. It's a very small amount of people, which is great because it means that everybody knows each other. And if there's a problem, it's all hands to the pump and we sort it out, which is, you know, it's one of the best companies, I think, out there because it's that family feel. And there's, you know, we're in it for the same reason. I always say heart and soul goes into producing Wolfburn. The blood, sweat, and tears that we use to produce the spirit, it wouldn't taste nice in a bottle, so that's why we have to produce a phenomenal whiskey. Yeah.
And you're doing a great job. Now, for the moment, it's Mark's moment. It's Mark's moment this time. So please welcome the other Mark. Hello, Mark, and the other Mark.
Hello, Mark. It's like an echo.
Mark, we don't hear you.
Oh. Sorry. Minor technical difficulties on my end, but I'm in the show now. Mark, that is a great name, by the way. And can I say that I'm slightly jealous of your beard? No matter how I grow it, my wife, if I were to have a beard like that, I'd probably sleep on the couch. Anyway, if you don't mind, you've been working for Wolfburn since 2016, so I presume you know a bit about the company, of course. So I have a few. It's just a small quiz, just to see if you're worth your salt working for Wolfburn. So I was wondering, where does Wolfburn Distillery takes its name from?
Wolfburn is our water source. there was an old distillery in 1821 called the Wolfburn Distillery. It was a local farm distillery, and the Wolfburn just runs where we are, and that's where we take our water from. So we've reawakened the Wolfburn name, and that's where we get the name from.
You scored. Good. Now, you mentioned the old Wolfburn Distillery. That you said 1821. Do you know when they closed down?
There's a wee bit of discussion about this. It's anywhere between sort of 52 and then 77, 1877. Old records that we can research. There isn't any old pictures, old recipes, and we looked at old maps. And some of the maps show the distillery in ruins. Some of the maps show the distillery not in ruins, which would indicate that it was back working. The only things that were left in the 1800s were tax records. So it's true what they say. Only two things sure in life: death and taxes.
Right. Now, about the original distillery, do you recall the name of the original founder of Wolfburn?
William Smith. William Smith.
I have to make it much more difficult. All right.
He stayed in the big house at Pennyland, and his grandson actually formed the Boys' Brigade in Captain William Smith. So there's a nice plaque, and there's a nice nod, because across the world, the Boys' Brigade Association, when you meet people that were in it, you can say, well, Wolfburn Distillery's got a connection with that family, and it's a feel-good factor to raise a glass and toast the memory as well.
Is it true that about 350 meters away from the new distillery, there is still a stone of the old one?
Yeah, the old buildings in Caithness on the north of Scotland, because remember, we're the most northerly on the mainland at the moment. They use Caithness flagstones for the foundation stones. So yeah, that's the only thing left. Just about 300 yards upstream, shall we say. But we're still using that lovely, lovely mineral rich, that lovely spring water, the Wolfburn, to make our phenomenal whisky.
You said that Wolfburn is now the most northern on the Scottish mainland. How did the people at Old Pulteney react when you stole that title from them?
Well, folks at Inverhouse and Old Pulteney, I don't think they were too happy, because they had to take everything off the bottles, all the labels. But there's a micro distillery going to be opening in John O'Groats in a few years. So that will take the title from us as being the most northerly. Now, again, being the most northerly, for me, it doesn't have any effect on your spirit. But what it means, it gives people an idea of location, that we're a coastal Highland whisky as well. And if it puts the big finger on the map to the north of Scotland, it's a great thing for tourists, especially on the North Coast 500, Scotland's Route 66.
Yeah.
I always say, make the pilgrimage north, you shall be rewarded. You will. We'll make the effort to make you feel right at home.
I have no doubt. When I'm back in Scotland, I'll certainly come and visit you. Now, about the new distillery, when was the first cask filled?
Our distillery, we filled the first cask on the 25th of January 2013. That's a special night in Scotland.
All right. I hang on. I think I've got a couple more questions, but I need to look for a difficult one that you probably will not be answering. When was the 1000th cask filled?
Oh my Lord! We usually fill about 1,000 casks a year. Okay. So I would probably say January 2014.
Very close. April 2014.
Okay. Yeah. Close to no cigar.
Right. Yeah. Well, you were a police officer, but it wasn't Scotland Yard, right? So
I've got many talents, but I better keep that for another conversation.
All right. I've got one final question, if you don't mind. What is your third favorite malt? Now, I say third favorite. This is a little trick I learned from Shilton. I'm sure that when I ask you what is your favorite, you'll say Kilhoman, and every Mark worth his salt will say Auchentoshan is his second favorite malt. So what is your third favorite malt?
I'm really not one for having favorites. It might seem silly, but when I finish a bottle and it's killed, I always go out and buy something new and something different that I've never tasted, because you want to expand your experience. My go-tos, Wolfburn, obviously. It might be the third expression of Wolfburn. That'd be too easy. I do like an old Pulteney as well. I like that salinity. I like that sort of maritime brininess. And remember, I was born and bred in Thurso, so the north was in my heart. And you want to support your local people, and you want to support your local industries. So again, that's probably why I migrated to maybe Old Pulteney. So yeah, let's shout it out for Old Pulteney when we're on. Why not?
Yeah, good answer. When I'm asked what is your favorite bottle of whiskey, I always say the next one.
Yes, that's always a good one, especially with me as well.
That works. Right. Well, let me just say, Mark, it's been a great pleasure to meet you, even though it was virtually. I've been very happy to talk to you. Thank you, Gunther, for the opportunity. And this was Mark's moment, and I hope to see you at one of our festivals real soon. Maybe able to come back to Belgium, and then I'm sure we'll meet up and have a dram of Wolfburn.
This week I was meant to be in Belgium. This was my week in Belgium. It had all been planned, but yeah, let's do it. It's a date, and it's a dram on me. Thanks very much, Mark.
Okay, I heard that. Mark,
thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. So that was Mark's moment. The second time he did this, and actually he stayed between under the 10 minutes, so he did a really, really, really good job. Good job, Mark. Yeah, the other Mark, of course.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, super.
Mark, actually, Mark, Jesus, this one is tricky. The other Mark asked a good question. What's your third favorite brand? But if you have to choose one Wolfburn bottling, which one would you choose as the all-time favorite?
Wow. I actually like our newest small batch release, our 155, which is our first ever finished whiskey. It's something we've been thinking about doing at Wolfburn for years, but up until now, everything that we've done, all our expressions have been full maturation and vatted together. This was just about 5 years in first fill bourbon casks, and then 6 months in ruby port casks as well.
Okay.
And Seca port hoggies as well. And it was just something completely different to what we did. But thinking about it, you try and sort of process why that might be your best. I used to drink port with my dad. So every time that I have a port, I'll think of my father, and he's no longer with us. He died in 2013, just when Wolfburn were into production as well. So it's quite a sentimental choice, but whenever I drink a port whiskey and that lovely vinous sort of jammy note comes through, you get that lovely port reference, and I always think of my dad, which is it's a great thing. It's a great thing to do. So yeah, I'll go for the 155. Our small batch release that came out in January, but it's a hard choice. It really is, because we've produced some amazing spirits from some amazing casks, but it just depends on your mood that day. It depends on who you're with. Depends what you want from a whiskey. Do you want to go out and party? Do you want to go out and actually give it large, or do you want to just sit in your favourite seat, shut the curtains, and stick the fingers up to the world? There's whiskies for that as well. Don't worry.
But it's not Wolfburn at this moment.
Oh, as Mark says, I'm quite happy. As long as somebody's pouring me whiskey, you've got a friend for life.
I can imagine that. Mark, I found this photo.
Wow.
It was a really good day, I presume.
Yes. That was at Limburg. Was it last year or the year before last year? Now, we had a phenomenal experience. It was my first time at Limburg, actually. We had done a tasting in the morning. We had done a tasting in the afternoon as well. We were there for 2 days, and what you see, the picture that you saw there was the empty boxes of Wolfburn that we had sold from the stand, and we were absolutely blown away with the response we got from a great, knowledgeable crowd at Limburg. It really was. And that was a moment that I couldn't pass. It was like a Wolfburn totem pole in the middle of Limburg, and that was just so much fun with Didi and Albert from Albert Imports in Corrie. It was just brilliant. Yeah. And Dirk as well. Dirk McLeod was there helping us at the stand. One of the other employees, and it's the same. When you've got a good workforce that you're very comfortable with each other, you're having a laugh and a joke, you're serving whiskey, you're talking about whiskey. It's so relaxed. It really is. And that helps it does help sales because people are in a happy place. It really does. They're enjoying listening to your stories. They're enjoying drinking whiskey with you as well. So every little helps, yeah.
But it makes it easier when you have someone on the other side of the room, or on the table, who is into whiskey as well, and it's not selling his product. He wants to teach you something and let you try something. You don't have to like it, but you have to try it.
That's what it's all about. Sometimes people might walk past and I'll say, you fancy trying some Wolfburn? And they'll go, no, I've never heard of it. What age is it? And when you tell them, they go, no, I don't drink anything lower than a 12 or a 15-year-old. And I challenge them at that point. I say, look, come on, life's all about experience. Don't be afraid. Try something new. Try something fresh, and hopefully that will change your opinion as well. We're only here once in life, so grab it by the bollocks and let's take the best out of it as we can.
Yeah. Carl is asking, are there any plans of adding an age statement to the core range in the future?
Yeah, we're only 2.5 years away from 10 years old at Wolfburn, which is really, the time has flown by. So 2023, we might have a limited 10-year-old release. We might try and add maybe a core 12-year-old release to the range. That's the plan at the moment. But again, plans change. But we're certainly on track to do that. And that would open another huge part of the market for us as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, we're a business. We have to make money, and we can. Again, we talk about that quite a lot. You can add tartan and bagpipes and everything to do with Scotland and whiskey, but businesses have to make money. But it's about making the best that you can with taste and flavour and letting the consumer to decide. That's the best way to do it.
Mm-hmm. Manu wants to ask, how does the current situation affect the smaller distilleries like yours? The big boys will probably manage with used stocks, but what about the likes of you?
I think as a small, fiercely independent distillery, we're winning because we've only got 6 folk at the distillery, 4 on production, 2 doing the orders as they're coming in at the moment. We don't have to worry about our shareholders and money's coming in to fill their pockets. All the money that comes in is reinvested in the distillery. So as a small distillery, I think we can manage it better, but it's as long as you keep true to your responsibilities. You're not just doing it because we have to make money. We have to make sure that there is like the social distancing and things have to be closed for like the post coming in, and everything has to be sort of sprayed down and sanitized as well. And as a small company, you've got much more control over that because there's only half a dozen folk at the stills, which is quite an easy task to do. But we're still full on production. Orders are flying in from across the world, and we're happy bunnies. We're really happy.
Now, I found this photo. The awesome left, I think.
Now, that was probably taken before that warehouse was extended. We had a good opportunity a couple of years now to have plans to extend warehouses number 1 and 2. So it gives us basically another full warehouse in the expansion. The great thing about Wolfburn as well, we store everything on site. So we've got 3 warehouses on site now, and it's totally traditional dunnage. So you can see the stows there and the barrels, 3 high, traditional stone floors, open eaves, not temperature controlled, and it means that we have access to our casks at any time. So we can sample, we can try, we can give samples out to our distributors across the world if we're thinking that we're going to be doing maybe a special release, as we have done a couple of times for the Belgium market through our distributors, the Nectar. So if Renz or Mario or Jan or any of the guys at the Nectar are watching, hello. Thanks to you, we've got a great presence in Belgium as well, and Belgium's a great market for us. We've got so many great fans, quite ultra Wolfburn fans in Belgium, which is great to know.
Okay, Mark is not done with his questions. Where do you source your cask?
We actually use a cooperage in Speyside, Isla Cooperage in Keith, and Ricky Proctor has been sourcing our casks for years. The great thing about our cask selection is we'll attempt to buy the best casks that we can. Everything's got a price, obviously, but the best that we can afford, we will buy the best casks we can, because there's no point producing a great spirit and putting it in an inferior cask. You're going to lose the taste, the flavour. You might lose your spirit if the staves aren't correctly aligned. So we've got all shapes, all sizes from the cooperage. Sherry butts, sherry hoggies. We've got rum casks. We've got port hoggies. We've got port pipes. We've got quarter casks. We've got Oloroso. We've got PX. All shapes. And again, as an independent, the guys want to experiment. You know, the master distiller wants to have a bit of fun. Everybody wants to have a bit of fun at their work as well and try new things. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's about being confident that you've got the access to great casks, great wood. And the other part is you've got to take a punt. You've got to take a chance in life sometimes. And again, that's where the big sign in our distillery resonates. You know, fortune favours the brave. It's up there. It's in the distillery. You see it every day at your work. And that just, that just reinforces the fact that, you know, if you don't make the effort in life, you'll get nothing back.
Yeah. You have to try something. But wants to know what's the capacity of the warehouses?
It really depends on size of cask.
In other words, have you any idea how many casks are there?
Oh, sorry. We've probably got about 7,000 casks maturing on site at the moment. Production for Wolfburn over the years is around about 120 to 125,000 litres a year, which is, you know, a very, very small amount. Mm-hmm. You know, the likes of Diageo, with all their distilleries across the world, they could make 125,000 litres in a few days. But that's our entire, that's our pair of stills. We do 6 mashes a week. So without adding any other equipment for Wolfburn, we could probably, you can just see the fortune favours the brave sign at the very back, on the back wall, just above those red old washbacks there. They're actually old Caperdonach washbacks. To the left is our spring water tank, and to the right is our effluent tank. We try not to get them mixed up for obvious reasons. But yeah, going from maybe 6 mashes to 8 mashes a week. We've got capacity to do that without further expansion, and that would add another 40,000 litres per annum for us in our production. But we don't need to at the moment. We're quite happy what we're doing. Again, the more spirit you make, the more warehouses you have to have. And that all costs money. But we do have plans. Plans were put on hold because of the situation. Mm-hmm. However, we've got another 2 warehouses being built on site. So that'll give us 5 traditional tonnage warehouses. So yeah, we're planning for the future. We're in it for the long haul, and we're happy. And any money that comes to the company, we're reinvesting. So it's the best way to do it. And it's a great company to work for.
So it's fair to say Wolfburn is getting bigger.
Yeah. And that not just on a sort of local, sort of European market. You know, we're reaching out across the globe. We're in 33 markets. Even this this week I've been in some email contact with people that want to get me across or do some online tastings for the Philippines, maybe Colombia, maybe South Korea. Wow. So we've got a great presence in Japan at the moment, in Taiwan and Hong Kong, Australia and New Zealand as well. I just got back when the airports were closing down in March. I'd spent a month away in Malaysia and Singapore and Thailand, in Australia and New Zealand. So I had an opportunity to do a lot of work with our local distributors there, and just managed to get back before the airports closed. So I was quite happy, although I'd have been quite happy staying in New Zealand for 3.5 months, maybe at my friend's house.
Does a trip like that feels like working, or is it more like it's partly working, but it's a bit holiday as well?
I get a chance to see the world. I get a chance to see and experience different cultures and different people. I always say Wolfburn's not a job for me. It's a passion. Mm-hmm. It's a vocation. It really is. And that comes over in probably how I do my work, because I'm a very personal guy. Nothing's ever a bother. I'm quite happy to help folk out and give them information, usually at the end of my phone, morning, noon and night, depending on different time zones across the world. And it's such a pleasure, because when you're in the whiskey industry and you're dealing with a whiskey that it's so in your heart, it's so personal for you. When you see the smiles and the sounds that people make when they're drinking your spirit, it's heartwarming. It really is heartwarming. And that's, the money helps. The money helps.
Yeah, of course. Being a police officer before, does it help you in your job at this moment?
Does it help me in my job? Yeah, I think it does.
When somebody's really drunk, you know how to handle him.
Yeah, and thankfully that's not happened a lot. But it's about being polite and making sure that they know that they're out of order. But it's not being strong-handed, or it's not being overzealous. And the great thing about the job that I was doing in Scotland as a police officer, you're speaking to people every single day of life in new situations and different situations as well. So your communication skills and your organisational skills are number one. Mm-hmm. And it's giving you, this is just a great. I'm always a people person. I thrive on that connection. And again, we were speaking off air before we came on. The whiskey, the whiskey community, they like to feel loved. They like to feel part of something. That's us at the Bremen Bottle Market. That's Paul Dempsey from Spey, Kenny MacDonald from Dramore. That's the guy that's bending forward with the beard. He does a lot of work for Glengoyne as well, and Loch Lomond. The guy next to me at the back, that's Peter Holroyd. He's the master distiller from Kings Barnes, and somebody that you'll probably all know, Crazy Legs Dancing Shilton. So the great thing is we meet on the circuit, every other month, and it's our own wee family. It's our own, like, where are we going tonight? Where are we going to eat? Where are you? And it's a great exchange to, right, what do you have new behind your stand? What kind of taste? And people like to feel that. They like to feel part of something, because when you feel part of something, you feel safe, and you feel loved, and you feel respected and valued as well. And that's what the whiskey community does. It's about meeting new people and meeting new friends over a glass of whiskey. Yeah. What's better than that? What's better?
Having a drink, having a laugh, and drinking something you like. Yeah. Patrick wants to know, are there any plans for other finishes?
Watch this space. I won't give anything away. We still haven't released anything fully matured in a port pipe or our rum casks. We get offered different casks. We've not decided to do anything in the core range. We still have our Northland, which is our quarter cask, our Aurora, which is our sherried oak. That's a mix of Oloroso and first fill bourbon. Our Morven is the lightly peated. We only do lightly peated at the stills for 2 months of the year. So for 10 months it's non-peated, and for 2 months it's lightly peated.
Your peated version is about 10 ppm, if I'm right.
10 ppm, yes. So the great thing about what we do with the Morven as well, half of it's matured in ex-Isla quarter casks, so you're getting a little more depth and resonance there with that smoky maturation as well. And then our Langskips are first fill bourbon casks only. So there's a nice range of taste and flavours to suit people's palates. And it's, as I said earlier on, it's a business, so you have to look at the market that you want to hit, and you want to start trying to take some of the market share away from the big whiskey companies, the big hitters, the industrial producers of spirit, which certainly Wolfburn aren't. Yeah. Everything we do, and all our bottles are hand bottled on site. We don't have a big bottling plant. Everything is done by hand, which is very, very labour intensive, but it means that, again, we have supreme control over everything that we do. We don't have to send our spirit to a bottling plant and basically hope that they do everything the way that we want them to do it.
Yeah.
We do everything on site, which means that we can control everything. Wolfburn, the spirit's our baby, and I always say this: we want to see it grow, we want to nurture it, we want to protect it, and the best way for us to do that is just do it ourselves.
Yeah, that brings us to another question: is there a bigger plan regarding Wolfburn, or do you take it from strength to strength?
Probably expansion eventually, but as I said earlier on, without needing any further equipment, we could up our production by a third. So, once we get our other 2 warehouses built, and we're always looking for, for the next challenge. But as a young distillery, you have to take small steps. You have to be sure that you're on track with your plan, and you have to make sure that you're being open and honest with people as well, because people want to come to a brand that they can relate to. That's why I think we're getting a lot of people migrating away from the big industrial producers of whiskey, because they want something a wee bit more unique, a wee bit more handcrafted, a wee bit more artisan, shall we say. And certainly you'll not see us in the supermarkets because we're not producing enough, and we don't want to be there. You'll see us in premium quality whiskey shops and whiskey connoisseur line online and stuff like that. So we found our niche. We're producing a great spirit. We're extremely happy, and we'll grow naturally. We'll evolve naturally, as they say.
And fiercely independent.
You have to punch the air with your fist when you say that.
And Thomas joining us as well.
He's a huge advocate for Wolfburn, Tom. And hopefully over the next few years we might get him involved in the business, doing a wee bit of tasting sessions and that as well. So, you spend your time and effort with Wolfburn, you'll be rewarded. This is the best thing, It's an absolute pleasure to meet people who are passionate about whiskey.
Yeah, I heard there was a while ago there was somebody who wants to join Wolfburn. He wants to work there, but I don't think he made it.
No, we looked at his CV and he just wasn't coming up to scratch. We asked for work references; he couldn't provide any. But no, that's Prince Charles. He came to visit the distillery in July last year, just before the May Games. He's the Highland chieftain of the May Games, which is just outside John O'Groats. And that was the Queen Mother's residence. And the royal family have a certain affinity for the north. So they used to always visit the north, just as they do in Aberdeenshire when they visit Balmoral. So we were always waving at the side of the road as kids at the royal family passing by with Britannia, the Royal Yacht Britannia, in the harbour in sort of Caithness at Scrabster. But Prince Charles, he came in July last year. Charlie gave him a tour. He was having a wee sample out some of the casks. He went into the bottling hall. He filled his own bottle as well as a presentation on the day. He paid for it as well, which was great, because in the UK, if you supply to the royal family and they actually pay for their goods, you can apply in about 5 years for a royal warrant, which means that you are a supplier to the royal family. And a lot of the businesses in Caithness, because of the Castle of May, a lot of them have the royal seal of approval. So that would be a nice, maybe a nice addition to the side of the distillery, and another sort of iconic picture to get tourists up to see us as well, because the royal family's got a huge following. And Prince Charlie there, he overstayed his time at Wolfburn, according to his security detail. He spent a wee bit more time drinking whiskey, and he should have been away doing other things, but he was happy. He was happy, and we were happy. We were happy when he was there.
Be a whiskey enthusiast.
He is, yeah, and he's got a couple of casks away in some different distilleries, and even like Royal Lochnagar, that's on the estate. He even wrote a book called the Old Man of Lochnagar, a children's book as well. So yeah, he's been brought up on the amber nectar, the whiskey, the actual the stuff, and he can't get enough of it, and he loves Wolfburn. So all credit to him for making the effort to come and see us.
Mm. Yeah. Did he buy a cask as well?
No.
No.
He just bought a ball. But that'll do. That's a start.
It's on his top shelf.
I hope it is, or this. I hope he's taken it home and he's cracked it open, and he's shared it with his friends round the fireplace. That would be the best story. Here's the only bottle for maybe the royal family that we'll produce, and he's opened it there and then, and he shared it with his friends, his family, or his staff. It's that would be the best story.
Yeah, we have been talking about Wolfburn because it's the first part of the word, wolf.
Yeah.
It's the wrong button. This one I need.
Yeah, that's our mythical. That's our motif. So that's our mythical sea wolf. So when you look at the T-shirt and you look at the banners behind me as well, when the owners were looking at something to represent the brand, they looked at various pictures and various stances of the sea wolf. Now that's a mythical creature that liveth on land and sea, and that was taken from a 16th century book called The History of Four-Footed Beasts and Serpents, and that was illustrated by a Swiss zoologist and illustrator, Konrad Gessner, in the 16th century. And the owners, they wanted something that would relate to the sea where we are, because we're a coastal town, and we want the outsider environment to help flavour our spirit. So that lovely sort of brininess, that lovely sort of maritime coastal air comes in, and the Wolfburn. So we wanted the sea and the wolf to be together. So the sea wolf was the most obvious choice to go for.
Would sound not correct.
It's totally mythical, so there was never ever any real sea wolves.
Yeah.
Although the Royal Marines are known as the sea wolves because they fight on land and sea. And there's a wee nod to our owners who are ex-Royal Marines, so there's a bit of military history there as well.
Okay. All right, I thought you were frozen.
I've just good.
Let's start these bottlings. This is not. They are not all the bottlings, but they are.
They were the middle three are our first three core expressions from 2016 to 2017. The one on the left is a Kilver series, which is a series we produce every sort of 9 to 12 months, and it's for. It's probably the best casks that we've sourced at the distillery for that year, and we are doing the whole Kilver rune alphabet. So there's 24 letters in that alphabet. So we'll have 24 releases for the whole series, and that's number 3. And the 270 on the right hand side, as I'm looking at it, was our was our second small batch release that came out in 2018, and that was a non-peated, matured in small 100 litre ex-bourbon casks, ex-Woodford Reserve bourbon casks, actually. So yeah, a nice lineup there. That would be a nice backdrop on anybody's bar, and if somebody produced those when I was on a night out, I would be extremely happy.
I can imagine. There's one new bottling. I think it's only available at the distillery, at the web shop.
Now our Father's Day bottling. Last year we did a Father's Day in Scotland. Father's Day is the 21st of June this year, and again, what we like to do is try and provide something for somebody to celebrate the day with their father. It's for obvious reasons. Yes, it's commercial. We don't shy away from that. But it's a great opportunity to put some great spirit in there. Now, the spirit that's gone in there, Oloroso Hoggies, that's some of our oldest spirit. So that's just 7 years that's been maturing in there. Okay. So that's going to give you, a superb taste of what we're doing, where we've come from in 2013 to where we are now, and really letting everybody know what the future holds for us as well.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So the Father's Day edition, I'll be raising a glass from a father with a wee tear in my eye. But it's a great opportunity to have a celebration as well, and we're whiskeying with fathers here or fathers there or fathers not with us. It's just a great opportunity for us. So yeah,
great one. Then we have this picture.
I was just trying. I think that was this. I can't even remember where that was, but that little mousy character is. I've seen that. I'm sure I've seen that at the distillery as well.
So it's not yours.
No. My children look very similar, but they're not that small.
Manu is saying your business at the end of the day, making some money, sort of, is embedded into it all. Yeah, of course it is.
That's it. We're a business. We have to pay wages. We have to pay rates. We have to make a profit to reinvest in the distillery. But let's do it in a way that people are going to enjoy it. Like, again, price point for Wolfburn. When we started, it was very important because we were a new distillery that we didn't want to, or we didn't need to price ourselves out the market. Because what you want to do, you want to create a great fan base. You want to create that, I describe it as the wolf pack, the people that are coming to the brand.
Yeah.
So you want to give them an opportunity to taste different cask selections, different flavors, but you don't want to rip them off. You don't want to take their good hard-earned cash from their pocket, that it's going to be silly money. So I think our most expensive has been our Kilver series, about £79. We've got a Help for Heroes at the moment, our charity bottle, that's for sale for £99 on the website. But again, you just have to realise that everybody has to feel that they're getting a good product for a value of money. And as soon as you can get that, when you go to a shop, you look in your wallet and you look at a bottle, and then if you can justify the fact, yeah, I'm going to buy that, you're not taking a bottle home and then you're worrying about the price, so you're not going to open it, or you want to leave it, or you want to collect it and you want to sell it on. We want people to buy our bottles and enjoy them, open them and relish them with friends or family, and make an occasion, because drinking whiskey with friends, family, and making an occasion that imprints a memory. So then you can ask 3 or 4 years from now, oh, do you mind that time we were drinking Wolfburn round at Mark's and So again, this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to create an opportunity to get a hook in people, to capture them and bring them along with the brand. Because I always say as well, we're going on a journey at Wolfburn. We don't know where we're going to end up. We don't know how big we're going to get. So all we're doing is we're asking people to come along for the ride, come along for the adventure.
Is there a dream like being the new Glenfiddich? Because Glenfiddich is family owned.
Because our owners are, they're really sort of tight guys together, and they were in the military together, as I said. They've got a view to having Wolfburn in their families for years and generations to come. So it's any business owner, I would say, unless they're looking for a quick turnaround or a quick sale, they want to invest in it, and they want to make it very profitable for their families and their families' families. So it's the best way to do it. And certainly, I'll say it on record, I have no complaints about how everybody's being treated at Wolfburn. So all credit to Harry and Andrew.
Are they watching?
They might be. You just never know. I always used to laugh. I used to wear a Wolfburn pin, and I used to always say at presentations, this is a mic so that they can hear everything I say, no matter where I am in the world. So I always used to tap it, 1, 2, 1, 2, just to make sure that they were hearing. But you just never know. But again, I'm open, I'm honest. I'm not going to tell you anything that's wrong, and I'm quite happy when the conversation's gone. I'll get the link, I'll send it to them, and if they want to take an hour and sit with a few drams and watch it all, they might give me an extra wage rise this year. You just never know.
Mm-hmm. Marcus, Tom has another question. It's more or less the same question like before, but slightly different. Are you planning to keep a lot of your cars to the age of 20 and more?
Yeah, and again, it's a good question from Tom. If you want an age statement whiskey, you just don't use all your 10, your 12 in a oneer, and it's all gone. And then you have to wait for another 10, 12, 15 years. So it's a good business sense to keep some casks back, especially our big 500-600 litre sherry butts. They're only coming into their own, I would say, maybe 12 to 15 years and maybe more. So we've got some big beasts of butts in the warehouse, I must admit, and that's quite hard for me to say, and that's without a drink. Big beasts of butts. So yeah, they'll hopefully be sitting for a while. And I've invested in the company as well. So I've got 2 sherry butts in the warehouse as well. So you're always looking, you're always tasting. But when you've got 500-600 litres of spirit, it's going to take a good few years for it to reach its optimum.
Mm-hmm. Earlier this show, you were talking about being located with the town as well. Yeah. Do you work with the local farmers or something like that?
We do work with a local farmer. We don't get our malted barley because there isn't any maltings in the north. We source that elsewhere. But the great thing about sort of the local community, the local farmer will come and take the draff away from the mash. So after we've got the clear worts away, the mash, the draff gets put out the hopper into a big red trailer. The farmer will come and take that away for his cattle feed, and then all the effluent. I'm reading from Mark. All the effluent. He'll come and he'll attach, and he'll take all the waste products away, and he'll spray that on the fields just outside Thurso as well. So the cattle and the crops that are growing up there, they're getting all that nutrient-rich waste, and the cattle are getting the best draff, like that lovely. That malted barley that's just been left and all the wart's been taken out of it. The best fed cattle in Caithness, and a Caithness steak is absolutely stunning. It really is. But other steaks are available, and if not, any vegetarian or vegan options.
It is a son, Mark, I presume, sleeping on the couch. Yeah. Mark, one last question. If you Actually, you're not. No, it's a difficult question for you because you're not into whiskey that long because
I've been drinking whiskey a lot longer. Yeah, I've been drinking whiskey for.
But if you got all the money in the world and you could do whatever you wanted, would you still do this job?
Yes, I would. I would say my reason for being on this earth is to make a difference, and you make a difference in people's lives by connections, by meeting them, by exchanging stories, by opening their minds, and just being fairly decent with people as well. Every day is a school day for me. I like learning. I like tasting new things. I like experiencing new things as well. And as I said, I'm a people person. I love the interaction I get. Yeah. And I don't think for all the money I could sit and do nothing. I would have to. My mind's active. I would have to have that challenge every day. And this is, this is a great opportunity to do something that I'm very passionate about. Hugely passionate about.
Are you still doing this at 74, like Billy Walker?
Yeah, if there's life in the old dog yet, you just never know. Fueled by whiskey, fueled by Wolfburn. You just never know.
I hope you can do it. I have an announcement for the viewers. Next Saturday we have a talk with Alex. I don't know how to pronounce the middle part. Monk from Stoning Distilleries. He will be talking about the Danish distillery. And the other days we have Florent Bouchet, Rosalind McLeod, Matt Haley, Paul Dempsey, and Hans Offenga. So we have a lot of stock in stock for you the next coming week. So Mark, do you know Alex?
Yeah, there's a few Alexes I know. If there's something popped up in the chat there, I never saw it. But Hans Offenga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big name.
And Siesta, his son, and I've met them at numerous festivals as well, which is great. I get an opportunity because I haven't been in the industry, and although I've been drinking whiskey for a lot longer than I've actually been in the industry, I'm like a sponge as well. I'm learning so much from other people just by listening to their conversations as well, and I'm getting an opportunity to be in their company at different events and listen to their presentation techniques and how they say things and how they refer to things as well. So every day is a school day for me, and the whiskey community is huge across the world.
Yeah.
If you walk into a bar, you're bound to meet somebody who's passionate about the spirit. You can pull up a chair and you've got a friend for life. That's what the whiskey community is all about.
Yeah. Mark, I will be leaving you now. Last word is for you. So I will be seeing you in the back, so don't go away immediately, but you can say goodbye to the viewers, and to the viewers I say I see you next Saturday with Alex. So Mark, thank you very much, and we'll be talking after the show. So goodbye. It's up to you.
Thanks very much from Wolfburn Distillery, everyone. In the night. And every see the Wolfburn open door. Yeah, I'm not going to go. I'm not going to lie. I'm out. This is a great opportunity for Wolfburn to be new home in a safe environment, and to be able to family have to stand with that, all the best, stay safe, and see you on the road.